Hello all, able to hear me everyone? Okay, so we are going to start the session now. So before we start off, any questions or any queries, any open queries? Okay, I have given the input files here, okay, for bank interest and also for bank charges, okay. So let us see today's session. So we are in integration of FI with MM and ST. Yesterday we have started controlling. In controlling, we discussed, the controlling area, the organization structure we discussed. We discussed the cost elements, two types of cost elements, primary and secondary, and how to create them manually as well as automatically. And we have also seen the creation of the cost centers, okay. So in cost centers, we have seen how to create actuals, planned values, and also the variances, okay? And along with the reports also we saw. So today we are going to see the integration of FI with MM, integration configuration, okay? Now configuration. Configuration of integration of FI with MM. So let us see that. So in integrations, if you see most of the configuration steps, almost 90 to 95% of the configuration steps are done by the respective MM and ST consultants. Okay. FI role is very, very small when it comes to integration configuration. Okay. Why? Because the postings are anyways automatic. If any posting, if any, the accounting document which is created wrongly, only in those cases we are coming into picture then. Okay. So most part of the integration will be handled by the respective MM and ST consultants only. Okay. So let us see the integrations. So we discussed the flow already, right? So let us discuss the configuration. Configuration, anyways, we will have to go to SPRO, IMG. From IMG, let us see one by one. So everybody is able to see my screen, right? Fine. So now the very first step is the organization structure of MM starts with plant. Okay. Plant. So first step is defining of the plant. Please remember all these steps we will never do. Only MM consultant does. Okay, but why we are doing here? Because without doing any of these steps, we cannot go ahead with the postings in integration. So we have to have postings for that. No, we have to have all the configuration. Okay. So all these are MM steps, please remember. Now defining of the plant. How do we define it? What is the the path for it? I'm only telling you the path. No need to remember the transaction code. Even no need to remember the path as well, as we are not doing this in real time. We won't do this configuration in real time. Okay, MM consultant does this configuration. Now enterprise structure, definition. So which module? Logistics general is the module, not our module. So from here, define, copy, delete, check plant. So we are going to define the plant here. So say new entries and give your own name to the plant. Plant is said to be the valuation area because you evaluate the material at plant level. At plant level, you evaluate the material. You commonly assign the factory calendar here because you do not want to make any kind of postings on weekends. In those cases, system will stop you if you assign a calendar. So I'm going to assign the standard one only. Okay, in real time, you will be assigning your own respective calendars. So I'll try to save this. Some pop-up is coming. Give your own country here and then say save. So you created and saved your plant. Make sure you're getting this message as data is saved. Okay, so plant is created. Now what next? Next is division. Division. Okay, so now division. Go back. Say define copy, delete, check division. New entries. Give some name to division. It is only 2 character. Let us see if system is saving. No, system is taking only 2 characters. So division is only 2 characters. Division is done. So because we are not doing all these steps, I'm going, very fast here because anyways, we don't do all these steps in real time. Now next is storage location. Storage location. That means stores only. Okay. So here you close logistics general and you open material management. Define storage location. What is your plant? At plant level, you are creating the storage location. So give some name to this storage location. That's it. You have defined the storage location. And next is after creating the storage location, purchasing organization. Purchasing organization. So this one, all these steps by consultant only. Purchasing organization. And next, okay. After this, there's the definitions are done. So next is assignments. Assign plant to company code. Assign plant to company code. So once you save this, come back, close the definition part and open up the assignment part. Go to logistics general. Assign plant to company code. Data is logged, it seems. So what you need to do is go to SM12. Now go to new entries. What is your company code and what is your plant? So you're assigning plant to your company code. Done. Assignment is done. Now what next? Next is assign purchasing organization to company code. Now say position, give your purchasing organization and company code and say save. Done. Make sure you're getting the message as data is saved. Next is assign purchasing organization to plant. Say new entries here. What is your purchasing organization? What is your plant? And then say save. Come back. Next is Assign standard purchasing organization to plant. Say position, what is your plant name, and what is your purchasing organization. Next, assign purchasing organization to reference purchasing organization. Purchasing organization, give your name. Again, give the same. Don't give release order. Okay, if you click this release order, system will ask you to release the purchase order, which is not required. Okay, in real time, because persons are releasing the orders, they will be clicking this. We need not click. Okay. Next, creation of the material group. Material group. Come back. Now close this entire enterprise structure. Now go to logistics general from here. Where is, yeah, here it is. Logistics general, material group. Where is it? No, not material group. Logistics general, material master, settings for key fields, and define material groups. So say new entries, give the name DOR1. Okay, I think it won't take. I gave a very long name, so system had shortened it. Okay, so material group name we defined, and also we saved it. After material group, it is going to be the purchasing group. Purchasing group. The path is material management. Open, you will have to open material management. Under this purchasing, create purchasing groups. Say new entries, this is only 3 character. And nobody will ask you the definitions as well. What do you mean by material group? What do you mean by purchasing group? Nobody will ask you because we don't create this. And next is, whichever is important, I will be telling you. Next is maintain company codes for material management. So whichever is important for you to understand, I will be giving you transaction codes. Maintain company codes for material management. OMSY. So only when I give you transaction code, you must understand, it is a bit important, okay, in integration. So OMSY I'm giving, and I say position, what is my company code, that I'm giving. So against my company code, which is the year for integration, this is there. From which period onwards I want to start 01. Now here if I say ABP, ABP means system will allow you to make back postings in integration. Back postings means postings to the previous months. Okay. So I gave you the transaction code here. So try to refer, try to see this transaction. So FI persons will be coming, to this transaction every now and then. Though we don't do this config, OMSY configuration we don't do. Okay. But we will be referring If at all we would want to do any kind of analysis, what is the configuration done here? We will be checking. Now next is attributes for material types. Attributes of material type. Now here let us see the path. Make sure data is saved every time. Go to SPRO, IMG, Logistics General, Material Master, Basic Settings, Material Types, Attributes of Material Types. Now, what are these attributes of material types? What material types do you have in real time? We will be using different types of material, like, raw material, semi-finished goods, finished goods. All these are the types of material only. For each type of material, you will be having the, some code name. Okay. So this is identified as a material type. Now for raw material, what is the code name that I have? For raw material, it is ROH, raw material. And for finished goods, what it is? For finished goods, it is FERT, is for finished goods. Okay. Now, what happens is usually, whenever we are creating the material master data is created with reference to material type. Okay, so the way we had created vendor master and customer master with respect to account groups. So similarly, in material master is created with respect to, with taking the material type, okay, as a reference. So here material type, some codes system has given, already given, so you need to remember ROH for raw material, finished goods it is FERT. Now what you need to do is, while you try to create the master from MM01 transaction code, here you have the material type. Here in the material type, system is showing you only the description but not the codes. So in the description, if you see, let me show you one example. Yeah. Finished product is there, description. Finished product is also there, description. Both are the same. But how we will know which is ours? Okay. So if two are there today, two are there tomorrow, five might be there with the same name, finished products. So in that case, we might get confused. Now, if we go to here in the attributes, go to raw material, ROH. Okay, somewhere you give your own name. Somewhere you give your own name. I gave my own name for raw material. How about for finished goods? Even the same for finished goods. Okay, now whenever I go to MM01 transaction code, material type, if I would want to select a finished goods, I can see my own name. If I would want to select a raw material, I can see my own name, which is correct. Okay, so I will, readily know which one has to be selected. Okay, so now that's the reason why you give your own names here. Now first select the raw material, select raw material and go to this folder, quantity value updating. In quantity value updating, go to position and give the valuation area as plant. So in the previous session last week, I told you, some cases you will be able to see company code as a valuation area. In some cases, you will be able to see plant as a valuation area. So it is, differing. If the prices of the material are the same across all plants, you will be taking company code as a valuation area. Otherwise, if prices are not the same across all the plants, you will be taking plant as a valuation area. Valuation area means what? At which level you do the valuation of the material or inventory. Okay, so now what you have to do here, against the material type ROH, which is raw material, and against your valuation area, activate quantity updating and value updating. What do you mean by quantity updating, value updating? If quantity updating is activated, then in the MIGO transaction, goods receipt transaction, the quantity is updated. If value updating checkbox is activated, then in the invoice MIRO transaction, the value, the amount will be updated. Same is applicable with the finished goods as well, FERT. Select and go to quantity value updating and go to position and say the same name here against FERT and activate those two. Done. See, you might get a doubt. We are in integration. Integration is about the vendors. Vendors means we get only the raw material from vendors. We don't get a finished goods, right? Finished goods we manufacture. In that case, why do we have to do the configuration for the finished goods? The configuration for finished goods is definitely done in Okay, please remember. The configuration for finished goods is done in only. Okay, fine. So now, we have created the attributes of material types, and what next? Next is setting of the tolerances. Of what? PO tolerances. So here we got the message, right? Data was saved. Okay. So now go to material management, go to purchasing, purchase order, purchasing. Purchase order, set tolerance limits. Where is it? Yeah. Set tolerance limits for price variances. So here copy the standard 1000 company code is a standard, right? Now say copy as, remove that 1000 to give your own company code name. So these two are copied, P and SC are copied, which are price variance, maximum cash discount deduction. Okay, you save it and come back. So this is about the PO price variances, and go to next. The next step is about the GR tolerances. Okay, tolerances limits for GR. GR tolerances, now go back. Now here material management again, but material management only, but purchasing, no, not purchasing, inventory management. Inventory, yeah, inventory management and physical inventory. Goods receipt, set tolerances. So here also the same thing, you very much copy the standard, all these three values. Say copy as, remove the 1000 company code and give your own. So these three are copied. Order price quantity variance with error message, the same variance with warning message, moving average price variances. Saved it and go back. Now this is about the tolerances for PU and GR. And next is plant parameters. Plant parameters. Copy 1000 and remove 1000 plant and give your own plant. Save it. Done. And next is Tolerances for invoices. Tolerances for invoices from material management, logistics invoice verification, invoice block, tolerances. So here also we very much copy the standard, which is 1000, but you know which one to copy? Let us see. BD, ST you can copy, VP, okay, and VP also you can copy. Okay. Fine. Remove to give your own. If you're getting this way, no need to worry. Come back like this. Now come back. Now with your company code, you can see all the 4 now. Though you got the error message, it gets copied. Okay. It got copied successfully. Now after invoice tolerances, automatic status change or automatic status change. Now what is it? Let us see. I go back up to logistics invoice verification. It's the same. Invoice verification in background, define automatic status. So even this step also is being performed by the persons only. Now I give my company code, set correction indicator, done. So till these steps, till these, only person is only involved. Now I'm giving gap. Gap means now FI person will come into picture. FI end user. Why? Because GL accounts we need to create, right? GL accounts consultant won't create, right? Now GL accounts will be created by the user. Okay? Not the consultant, user. So go to GL accounts in your chart of accounts. This is your chart of accounts. Now raw material. You are getting the raw material from the vendor. So assets, say, did not we create any raw material so far? How come? In vendor module, what did we use?
We created that account earlier.
Yes, everyone. Yes.
It was created.
It was created, no?
Right. Can you just check it in a liability side? Liability side?
No.
Not supposed to be. Yeah, correct. It's not supposed to be, but.
Okay. Anyways, let me create one more time. Let me create like this. So what I have to do is $20 raw material inventory standard. What is this standard? I will tell you in the coming sessions. Raw material, R means raw material, I say inventory also. And I say standard. Raw material inventory standard. So this is part of what? This is part of our MM. Okay, we created one raw material even in our vendor module also, but this is part of our MM. So what else relevant to cash flow deactivate? Now this is MM related GL account, right? In MM, in integration, even in MM integration or ST integration, the postings will be done automatically. That's the reason why I say post automatically only, because the postings are made automatically. Now here in the field status, you need to activate material accounts. Material accounts, post automatically only. And here, if at all you would want to have any tax, say input and say posting without tax is also allowed. Okay, your wish. If at all you would want to have taxes. Okay, now I say save. Raw material standard is created. Similarly, one more raw material, which is raw material moving average. Now, moving average means what? I will tell you in the coming sessions. When we execute, we will come to know what it is. So, moving average is also an asset, same kind of asset. Again, post automatically is activated. Now, one more GL account related to finished goods. Remember, finished goods is actually not a part of MM, but still it is part of ST. We sell finished goods to customer, right? Not to vendor. Vendor, we get the raw material from him, but still it is created. It is just created, but not used. Okay, postings are not made on the finished goods, but still it is created. So finished goods inventory created part of ST. So this is an asset, but here it is output. Okay, so this is also an asset. Post automatically only is activated. Now 3 GL accounts are over. What is the next GL account? Next GL account is GRIR clearing GL account. Copy outstanding. Say GRIR. GRIR is a clearing account. You already know by now. What do you mean by a clearing account? So many places we used clearing GL accounts so far. So liability account open item management has to be activated. And here in the sort key, you need to give purchase order number. Why? I will tell you. Again, post automatically. Here field status has to be G045. Goods invoice received clearing accounts. Say save. So fourth GL account is done. Now fifth GL account is raw material consumption, which is an expense. Raw material consumption, which is an expense. Okay, so you already know what a cost element is, right? So this has to be reported to controlling. Okay, so now I am taking the cost account. Okay, now make it a cost element. You already know how to create a cost element. This is a primary cost element, right? So I'm making it a primary cost element. For any primary cost element, category is 1. Okay, By default, you can give this category. So raw material consumption is also done. And for GRIR, one thing I forgot. Post automatically was given. Tax category, you need to give all taxes allowed. That's it. Okay. All the other things are correct. Now what next? Next is one more GL account is pending, which is income GL account. Changing stocks. Increase or decrease in stock of finished goods. Increase or decrease in the stock of finished goods. So this has to be created as a P&L account. And the field status has to be G030. Change in stocks. Post automatically only has to be activated. Okay. Now, what next? Next is, so with this, our end user, okay, FI end user job is done. Again, consultant is coming into picture. Group together valuation areas. Group together valuation areas, OMWD. Okay. Now, what do you mean by this OMWD group together? See, what do you mean by valuation areas in first place? Valuation area is a place where you do the valuation of the material. In most of the cases, plant is taken as a valuation area. In few cases, you also have the company code as a valuation area. Okay. Now, why will have to group together all the valuation areas? What is the reason? The reason is, let us see. Suppose I have one plant. I'm doing the valuation of the material. In that process, I have created 50 number of GL accounts. So I have a single plant. Plant means factory, you already know. I have a plant, and in that plant, I'm doing valuation of the material, and in that process, I happen to create around 50 to 60 number of GL accounts. Now, okay, if it is one plant, okay, I'm able to create 50 or 60 number of GL accounts. Fine. Now, what if I have 10 number of plants? In those all other plants also, I'm doing valuation. So each plant, if I'm creating 50 number of GL accounts in 10 number of plants, 50 into 10, 500. What if I have 20 number of plants? Okay, again 20 into 50, 1000 number. Okay, so which becomes tedious for anyone to create these many number of GL accounts. So in that case, if you group all the valuation areas or all the plants together under a common roof, in that case, you can use the GL accounts, the same GL accounts across all the plants. So in our case, in our example, if I'm having 10 number of plants, for all those 10 number of plants, I can use the same 50 number of GL accounts. How many ever number of plants is, you can keep using the same number of 50 GL accounts every time. Okay, so that can be achieved if you group all the plants together under a single roof. So this is happening under transaction code OMWD. We won't do, only consultants do. Say position, what is your valuation area? Valuation area is a plant. Please remember, in our case, but in few other cases, company code can also be taken as a valuation area. Now, suppose I have only one plant. That's the reason why system is showing only one. What if I have created all the 10? DUR1, DUR2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would have been able to see here as well had I created. Okay, but I created only one plant here. So valuation grouping code. That roof I told, no, that roof is called valuation grouping code. So under this valuation grouping code, if all the plans are put, then all the plans can use the same GL accounts. Across all the plans, you can have the same GL accounts. So I'm giving some name to the valuation grouping code. Any name you can give. So all your plans should be kept under the same roof. That means the same value you have to give here. Okay, but all the plans should be created by you, not by others. Okay, fine. So I have grouped together all the valuation areas. Why? Because in order to avoid the GL accounts to be created every time. Now next is valuation class. OMSK. So wherever I'm giving you the transaction code, you try to see what is being done there. Okay. Other transactions you need not. Now go to valuation class. All these are predefined. Okay. Very few are there which I have defined in the from here. Now most of these are predefined. Now what do you mean by this valuation class? In the basics of integration, I told you. Okay. The very important concepts in integration. I told you what a valuation class is. This is used in automatic account determination. That's it. Valuation class is used in automatic account determination. That means in order to determine the GL accounts automatically, you use this. Now, what are the valuation classes already defined by the system? For raw material, it is 3,000. Yeah, for raw material it is 3,000. So select 3,000, say copy as. Remove 3,000, your copy, you need to remove. And give the raw material. First raw material standard. You have two types of raw material. Please remember, standard and moving average. Raw material standard. Make sure while copying this AREF, account reference, is having the number 0001. If any other number is there apart from 0001 in this AREF, account reference, then everything goes wrong. So if any other number is there, sometimes you will be able to see 0009 like that. Okay. So if any other number is there, then you need to remove it and keep 0001 against 3000 valuation class. So you copied it, you saved it. So this we created for the standard raw material. How about the moving average? Again, you remove this and say MVG, but make sure 0001 is there. What next? Next is copy 7920 finished goods. Make sure 0009 is there for finished goods. Say copy as D. Okay, done. You have created the valuation classes. Now what next? Next is the integration point. Automatic account determination. OBYC. Very, very important. You need to remember this. Now, see, usually automatic account determination, FI% are doing because it is related to GL accounts. Okay, how GL accounts are determined. But in very few projects I saw consultant himself is doing. Okay, so we are giving them the GL accounts. Okay, against this key, this GL account, has to be activated. That information we are giving, but they themselves are doing this transaction. Okay, so depends upon project to project. Okay, sometimes FI% are doing, sometimes the respective and district consultants are doing. Okay, so now I go to BYC So this is where you do the automatic account determination. First, you need to define for the raw material. See, in the previous sessions, I told you, these are the, the transaction keys. Against this transaction keys, we are assigning the GL accounts. BSX, inventory postings. So go here. Where is BSX? Here it is, inventory postings, BSX. Double click here, chart of accounts, fine. Now valuation modifier, valuation class. Activate these both and say save. Now system is giving you something. Now valuation modifier is nothing but the valuation grouping code. Just now we discussed, right? It is a roof under which all the valuation areas have to be placed. So that roof is also called a valuation modifier. Valuation grouping code or valuation modifier, both are the same. So which name we gave? We gave this name to that group. Now valuation class. What valuation classes do we have? Raw material we had created first. So for raw material, we have the valuation classes. Okay, raw material standard. And one more, moving average is also there. No, let us assign here itself. Moving average, raw material standard and moving average. Even for moving average, you need to give the modifier name. Now, what are the respective GL accounts which we created? For standard, the GL account is standard. For moving average, the GL account is moving average. Defined for finished goods also here only. Okay, you define the finished goods in only. Now, what is the class we defined? Yes, this is the one, finished goods. And what is the GL account? Only one GL account we created for finished goods. Finished goods is also asset and we save it. So under inventory, three types of inventory. Towards raw material, one is the finished goods. So make sure changes have been saved. Now done. Now what next? Next is the GRIR clearing against WRX. Now where is WRX? Search for it. WRX. GRIR clearing account. Double click. Say valuation modifier and class. Valuation modifier, this name only we gave. Valuation class. See, GRIR clearing comes into picture when you receive the material from the vendor. What material you receive from the vendor? Obviously raw material. So against raw materials only you can have the GRIR. Okay. So I'll select the raw materials. Standard. Moving average. What is the GL account for GRIR clearing? It's a liability account. Same GL account because only one GL account we created for GRIR clearing. Now what next? Okay, so GRIR. Okay, clearing also we have seen in automatic account determination. Next is the raw material consumption. Go to GBB. Select general modification also apart from valuation modifier, valuation class. What is general modification? I tell you. These are all general modifications. So in order to go to raw material consumption, So these are the first ones I'll have to select, and then this is the general modification. Valuation grouping code. General modification is VBR for consumption. VBR for consumption. And valuation class. What material is consumed? Raw material is consumed. Okay. So for standard and also for moving average. Four 0020. Saved it, come back. So this is about the raw material consumption. And finally, we have this increase or decrease in the stock of finished goods. Again, go to same GBB, but now it has to be on finished goods. Give, here I have written AUF, ZUF, VAY, VAX. Now all this have to be on the finished goods. Which GL account? Increase or decrease in the stock of finished goods. Okay. This one, same GL account throughout. Okay, done. So OBYC is now done. We will be coming back to OBYC again. Okay, when we do the differences, we will be coming back. Now next is the doc. See, we are creating the documents are getting generated in the background automatically. But how? Only when some document type is assigned, right? So give the document types. What document types you will have to use? WE, WARE. Okay. Now let us see. WE is goods receipt. Number 50. Which number can I take now? Next is WA. 49 number. RE invoice receipt 51 is the number. So these three document types you will have to define. Okay. Now next is you need to define the vendor master data at purchasing level. Okay. Now who does this? Again, consultant only. We already have one vendor master. The same vendor master we are extending to the purchasing level. We have created one purchasing organization just now. Account group is already there. Which vendor? So this is at purchasing organization level, okay? So order currency gives some order currency terms of payment, Incoterms. Now, GR based invoice verification means what? See, in the beginning we discussed, okay, in the basics. Two scenarios we have whenever we place a purchase order on the vendor. He might send us the goods first and invoice later, or invoice first and the goods later. Okay. The former one is preferred. You have to have the goods only, then the invoice. So now you would want to have a validation wherein you do not want to have an invoice without a GR, without a goods receipt. So in that case, if you activate this, then invoice will never be posted before the GR is posted. Okay. Invoice will be posted only with respect to GR. GR should be there in order to have an invoice. Okay. Now let's go to next. So this we need not give anything. And just a save. So you have created the vendor at purchasing organization level. Create the vendor at purchasing organization level. Now next is the material master. What material? The raw material. MM01 is a transaction code. So now I go to MM01, give some name to the material, raw material, right? And standard. Okay. Industry sector always give mechanical, and material type, it has to be the raw material. See, our own raw material we selected. Our name is there. Now what are the views you need to select? Select all these. Purchasing. Okay. Select it. Yeah, like this. Unit of measure. Material group we have already seen. We created. Division also we created. Weight. Weight, volume. In units. Go to next. Here, nothing to give. Go to purchasing. Nothing to give here. Plan data storage, no, nothing. Accounting, it is asking for plan. Now give the valuation class. Raw material standard, right? So I'm giving STD. So here give the pricing control as standard we are using, right? Not moving average. So give standard. Now when it is standard, you can see both moving price and standard price. Okay, given the standard price as some price. And you can go to the respective to see if anything you can give and then say save. Purchasing group also be defined. Give some value. So you need to save this material. Material standard created. Now next is moving average, right? So moving average. Same views you need to select. Same way as we did for the earlier one. Valuation class we need to give for the moving average. Pricing controlling is moving average. Give some price. And then say save. Give the purchasing group and then say save. Done. Okay. Now what next? Material is also created. So all these are done by consultant only. Now next is about the purchase order creation. So purchase order, these are the transactions. Transactions are done by the end users. Okay, purchase order. Transaction code is ME21N. Now, while doing the purchase order, see, we would have agreed upon the terms and conditions given by the vendor, right? Okay. So in the quotation document that he has sent to us, okay, which is in reply to the inquiry document, which we have sent to him. In the quotation document, he will be sending how the material will be sent to us, whether it is, by a road or, how it is, okay? So how much days, the material will be delivered and how much of cost incurred in the delivery of the material, which is not equal to the material price. Okay. In addition to that, he is levying the delivery prices. Okay. So there are some terms and conditions, okay, which he is already mentioning in the quotation document. So what if he has mentioned some delivery charges? Okay. So if he is already mentioning the delivery charges to you right from the beginning, it is called planned expenses. planned, delivery. Okay, planned delivery means what? We have already planned right from the beginning. We very much know while creating the purchase order itself, we very much know that delivery charges are there because he told from the beginning. Okay, so that means I'm capturing the freight cost also. For this, what you need to do is go to GL accounts. Go to GL accounts. Freight has to be created as a liability account here. Why liability account? I will tell you. So this is freight, incoming freight. Okay. And this has to be a clearing account. Okay. Incoming freight clearing account, open item management is activated. Okay, that's it. That's it. Incoming freight, a clearing GL account. Post automatically. Now we are going to create a purchase order from ME21 transaction code. Now what you need to do is give the vendor which you created at purchasing organization level, that vendor only, and give today's date. I'm giving 1st of Jan. Make sure standard PO is there. Okay. Now go to organization data. Give your own purchasing organization, purchasing group, company code. All these you need to give. Now items. You will have to give in multiples of 10. Don't give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. In multiples of 10 you need to give. Material. Which material? Raw material standard and raw material moving average. Both I'm getting from this vendor. How much quantity? Suppose 2 quantity. Or let me take more than this. 100 quantity. 100 quantity again. So when is the delivery date? Suppose. What is the price? Material group. Plant. Storage location. Once you give this, go to, see this is header level. This is the line item level, just like FI document. Okay. Even, FI document also we have the same. Okay. You can close this, you can close this like this. Now select this raw material standard and go to conditions. If you go to conditions, you have the price captured in the condition type PBXX. This is the price. And cash discounts, I am giving nothing, no cash discount. From here, select the freight also, which is the planned price, FRA2. Give the condition type FRA2. How much freight, your vendor is saying? That much. If it is in amount, you can give amount, or if it is in percentages also, you can give. But let me give amount, which is widely followed. So amount I'm taking 50 USD suppose. So FRA2 freight percentile is, okay, it is taking in percentages. Why percentage? 5,000 USD it came. So let me take 5%. Okay, 500 USD it came. All right. So here I gave freight FRA2 condition type. I gave 5 percentile. 5 percentile is 500 on 10,000. So on 10,000 it is taking as percentile, which is 500. So this 10,000 and 500, it became 10,500. On raw material standard, fine. How about raw material moving average? Now raw material standard again, if you see, this is FRA2, right? Now let us come down here. Come down like this, you should be able to see this. Click on FRA2 against standard only and go to this button, condition detail. Here you have the vendor. Now this delivery charges, suppose I have to pay to another third party vendor. I'm buying the material from this vendor one, VND1. But the delivery is being done. What if the transporter is a different person, different vendor? In that case, I should have one more vendor. Now, what you have to do is define a separate account group, okay, only for the transporter vendors, and create a new vendor master data. Now, let us have one more master data, XK01. I'll be copying vendor 1 here. Now, I will be creating, saying that transporter 1. Okay. Okay. Transporter 1. Okay. Now account number. So it's too long. Okay. So transporter 1. Okay. So this vendor is doing only the transportation. Done. Okay. So now what you need to do is go to item conditions on this FRA2. Change the vendor name now. If it is a different vendor for transportation, only then you will have to change like this. Okay, so this is done for standard. How about moving average? Select moving average, double click on 20. Now on 20 again, what if I have again the freight charges on the raw material? Moving average. And what if the freight is, again let us take some percentile. Okay, so what is happening here also 10,500. Okay, so again select this FRA2 and go here. You can give even the same transporter or a different transporter. You can give the same or even a different transporter also. Okay, let us change the percentile. Okay, I'll change it to 4 percentile. And the vendor name anyways is the transporter. Now you have to say save. So then the purchase order is set to be created with the number 4500022560. Okay, our PO is set to be created 4500022560. Now next is what? PO is generated. Next is we are getting the goods. Goods receipt done in MIGO transaction code. Now whenever you are receiving the goods against a PO, what is the movement type? 101. Okay. So now let us see. MIGO, make sure you are selecting the goods receipt here. You are receiving the goods against the purchase order. So here you can see 101. Okay. Now which purchase order number it is? Purchase order number 4500022560. And then you say execute. The line items will come here. Change the date. Now the raw material standard is blue in color because it has been selected. If it is selected, it is coming in blue color. So now come down like this. Here the checkbox is empty. Now enter in the delivery note the same 100 kgs we are buying from him. So say item okay and then say enter. This will be activated. Similarly for the second one, moving average is now activated. Give the same values like this and give item okay and then say enter. This will be activated. So here there is no, we are not mentioning anything about the vendor or anything here. Just say save. Okay, in the, what do you say? In the purchase order, no accounting documents are generated. Okay. Now system is asking for PRT. Any price differences are there, system will be posting to PRT. Okay. So what we shall do is, PRD is what? Price differences. So let us create one GL account for price differences. So it is price differences. So you can create a expense account. Post automatically only. Now you need to go to account determination OBYC and go to PRT here. Valuation modifier, valuation class for raw material standard and raw material moving average. GL account is the PRT. Don't continue with the same goods receipt. You will have to create another one. Okay, of course, with the same purchase order because it cannot continue like this. Goods receipt, purchase order, same purchase order, execute. and then say save. FR2. One moment. ME23N. Just give me a moment. Okay, so we are using freight, right? So when we are using freight, we will have to configure for freight also. The GL account has to be assigned in OBYC also, okay? The freight GL account also, freight provisions FR2, okay? So let me write here as well. Not only for PRD, but we are using the freight as well, right? So FR2, which is freight provisions. Okay. So go to FR2, double click, valuation modifier, valuation class. What is freight? The liability account we created, right? Okay. So for both raw materials, you will have to assign. Done. Okay. So again, not to continue with the same ME20 MIGO. So go to a new MIGO. Goods receipt purchase order, same purchase order. Now this is activated, give the same, say item okay, say enter. Similarly for the raw material moving average. Okay, now try to save it. Now material document so and so is posted. Not accounting document, material document got created, it seems. Now how to open up the material document? How to open up a FI document? Transaction code is FB03. For material document, transaction code is MB03. Very much similar, okay? So now, ending with 1447, so MB03, latest document number only will come here, enter. Now accounting documents, you can see from here, this is the material document standard, plan, storage, location, purchase order, all these details you can see. So I go to accounting document in order to see the FI entry. Now see how big is this. Let us see. Raw material standard 10,000, raw material moving average 10,400, GRIR clearing 10,000, GRIR clearing 10,000. PRD incoming freight 500, incoming freight 400. Can anybody try to explain this? Can anybody try to explain me this? Or anything you're able to understand out of this? So let me tell you. We have used two types of pricing control. Pricing control standard and pricing control moving average, right? Now, if in case of standard, any price differences, in case of standard, any differences in the material prices or any addition in the material prices will be going to PRD account. Why? Here in the material master, how much price we gave? 100 we gave. Okay, let me show you in MMC.
Lavanya,
tell me.
Are you saying that, for example, that while raising in a purchase order, assume that for one particular item that I mentioned that $1,000, okay? Now, at the time of good receipt, that maybe the value is maybe instead of 1,000, 1,200 or 1,100. That you are talking about that price difference, or the price difference is what the rate which is mentioned in our material master, and at the time of goods receipt, the rate
Yes,
difference.
yes. In the material master. See, this is the material master, right? See, the pricing control is standard for raw material standard.
But at the time of purchase order, even if we are pulling from that material master that purchase, the based on that, whatever the supplier that quotation, we will consider that actual price, right?
Changes occurring from that of the material master system will be taking.
Sorry, come again.
Okay, changes. See, whatever you mentioned in the material master, that will be taken as the reference.
Okay.
Any changes that you mention at purchase order level will be taken as the tolerances only. That's the reason why we have purchase order tolerance.
But there is no option that the user can change that rate based on that whether
Tolerances
it is
you have, no?
I'm not talking about the tolerance. Yeah. So that
Tolerances, the purpose of tolerances is accepting the change.
Even though you are saying the reference will always take it from the material master.
Yes.
There is no option for that from a rate contract or from the purchase order or from that the supplier quotation.
See, purchasing info records will be there, which are maintained by users. Purchasing info records will be there. Okay, based on that also, price changes I think you can do. Okay, but I never happened to work on info records. Actually, we won't work on info records. Normally, prices will be taken from the master only.
But normally that see the one which I worked it in that ERP, there is an option that we can take it either from that master or from the rate contract or from the previous prior transaction like that supplier quotation or whatever it is. So that rate will take it accordingly, and then based on the setup, definitely.
No, as far as I know, this is how the system takes.
Okay.
Let me check. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me check about that. Okay. Prices from rate contract.
Either it may be from a rate contract or from a supplier quotation or from a item master, nothing but a material master.
I will check this. Okay.
Yeah.
So, based on this is standard price control. So system will be taking which price? Moving average or standard? Standard system will be taking. Okay. So this 100 is a constant number which will never change. Standard means which will never change. Because the pricing control is standard, system will be picking this standard price which is 100 and which will never change. So to this purchase order, okay, wherein we have given the amount as 100 per unit. Okay, 100 into 100. 100 kgs we have ordered, right? So 100 kgs into 100, it is 10,000 only. So system will be taking 10,000 only as the entire price for that material. But we have added the freight also. Because freight is added, how much percentile? 5 percentile, which came up to 500. So that 500 difference will be going to PRD account. Why? Because it is a standard price, and for standard, no changes are acceptable in the material price. Okay, so that difference is going to PRD account.
Now, one more doubt here.
Yeah, tell me.
So for when we are talking about that freight or whatever it is, those are a kind of expenses, right? Apart from that actual.
That I will be telling you, it is definitely an expense. No one is denying.
It's a separate expenses, so that would not be a part of that actual rate which we are mentioning in that master, right?
Yeah, that is, you know what, that is what I'm telling you. Okay. It shouldn't be, but standard and moving average, how does it differ?
Okay.
That I'm telling you.
Okay.
Okay. So for standard, any differences will be going to the PRD account. Whereas moving average, if you see, the amount has came up to 10,400. See, 10,000, 10,400. Why? Because freight part has been included to the material account itself. Okay. See, 400 minus here, 400 plus here. Okay. So that amount has been debited to the inventory account, and this is created as a liability. Got it, everyone? Any freight expense or any addition in the charges, okay, to the standard material will be going to the PRD account. Of course, my freight expenses are also booked and it is created as a liability. Whereas my raw material, okay, freight expenses or any addition in the expenses is not going to any other account except to the inventory account itself. Into, see, that 400 amount, freight amount is there, that is added to the inventory. How can you say 10,000 was the amount which we have done in the purchase order? 10,000 plus 400, 10,400. So that's the reason why you can see here in the material master for the moving average. For standard, this 10,000 will never change. Okay, this 100 price doesn't change at all. But for moving average material, for moving average, price control is V. So system has to take from this field. So earlier we gave 100, right? It came to 104. So it is moving, the prices are moving. That's the reason why it is called moving average. So the prices will be fluctuating. Okay. And on this account itself, prices will be posted. The same you're able to see here. Okay. To the inventory account itself, the prices are posted.
Sorry, Lavanya, that moving price is back updating after the transaction, or how it
Yes,
is?
after the transaction.
So assume that after maybe that I started in the month of that April, maybe there may be many transaction. Maybe today, if I am doing some kind of
It
transaction,
will move anytime you post on this material, which is moving average.
so you
And
mean
if
to say that it
any
will
changes are happening, okay, any price changes are happening at the transaction level, those changes will be reflected here in the master data.
So you mean to say it will consider that whatever the last transaction changes, which the charges which are applicable or the rate which are applicable, that will consider.
It will be updated in the material master, I'm saying.
Yeah, correct.
It will be updated. But
And the
even
same
in
will
the
take it.
next PO, if at all you would want to give 100 as a price, you can definitely give.
Then that will be a standard.
No, how can it become standard?
No. One is
We are just
that
defining as the price of the moving average in the purchase order. If tolerances are defined, then it will be accepting.
Okay.
Okay, if tolerances are not defined, it will deny. That's it. So you need to define the tolerances for that at purchase order level. Okay. So this is about the incoming freight. If you see this GL account 221 in FBL 3N 221. These are created as open items 500 and 400. Okay, fine. So now let us see. So this is a document that has been created from the MIGO transaction. Okay, now what is next thing? MIGO is done. That means what? The goods receipt is done. Next is invoice receipt. Okay. Invoice receipt, that means IR. Invoice receipt, IR, which is done from MIRO transaction. But before we do MIRO, we need to discuss the tax postings. Why? Because invoice is nothing but a tax invoice. Invoice is nothing but a tax invoice. So we need to discuss the tax postings. Okay. Now, let us have the tax postings. Just give me a moment before we start the tax related. So any other questions still here, anyone? Anything that you did not understand?
At the time of goods receipt, we are not considering that tax part, right? Only at the time of invoice
No,
registration.
yeah, tax will come into picture. That means tax will be posted only during the invoice time.
Okay.
Okay. Never at the GR or purchase. At purchase order level, you will never have any
purchase
kind of...
order, there will not be any financial entry, correct?
No, not getting you.
Purchase order, anyway, there would not be any financial
No
entry.
accounting documents.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so no question. At MIGO level, that means at goods receipt level, no tax postings. Okay, at MIGO, no tax postings will be there. So now we are going to start the tax related configuration. So now, first we need to define the tax procedure. OBYZ. You have the procedures here, double click here and say new entries. Give some name to the procedure. I say this name, okay? And I save it into the TR and then I select it and go to control. Now here, step always given multiples of 10, not 1, 2, 3 like this. And condition type, BASB. Then you have MWVS and NWS. I will be explaining to you. BASB means the base amount. Next is the input tax. Next is the output tax. This is a very basic tax procedure I'm telling you. Okay. Now go to input tax. If at all you would want to calculate, it is calculated on the base amount of the invoice. So it is from 10 to 10. 10 is the base amount. Output tax, sales, is calculated on the base amount on the sales invoice. So 10 to 10 again, not 10 to 20. Getting it, everyone? This is different and this is different. If I'm taking input tax, then this is the base amount of the vendor invoice. If I'm taking output tax, then this is the base amount of the customer invoice. Okay, fine. So now, if all you would want to enter manually, you can select this, otherwise not required. Now go to account key here, account key. Now, input tax posting should be made. How it is captured? With the help of the account key. Account key is also called transaction key, process key. Okay. Now for input tax account key is VST, output tax account key is MWS. Okay. Save it, done. OBYZ is done. Now what next? Any taxation, if you see anywhere, it is at country level. That is the reason why assign tax procedure to country. Transaction code OBBG. Okay, now go to your country, and in your country, whichever is your procedure, assign it. What was my procedure name? This one. So assign it. Done. Okay. Now what next? You have to have the tax codes. Okay, otherwise how to calculate the tax? How much percentile it is? How will you know? Tax code you need to have. So now I'm covering both incoming and outgoing tax at the same time. Okay, I will be showing you. So FTXP for which country? For your own country. Now, before we start off with the tax postings, you mandatorily have to create the 0 percentile tax codes. Input 0. Zero percentile. For input, we usually give V, not I. Okay, I say V0. V for input, please remember. Tax type, here you can see V. Okay, so V input is 0. Output, click here and say deactivate. Output will be deactivated. Output tax is not active. Against input, 0 is coming. Okay, it is coming by default. Save it. Done. Now output also. Output is a 0 percentile output. Now say like this. Output 0 percentile. What is the tax type? Output only. Say enter. Now you need to deactivate input. Put the cursor here, deactivate. Input tax is not active. Output is 0 percentile, fine. Okay, so 0 percentile tax codes you need to define first. 0 percentile tax codes have to be defined first. Now what will you do after creating the 0 percentile tax codes?
Lavanya, but this configuration is normally who's doing that, whether it's a FI or a person?
This is for?
Who is doing this kind of setup? FI person or MM person?
FI, see, tax part we will do, right?
Okay.
We have to do.
Okay.
Okay, person doesn't do. We are doing. Okay. So now, 0 percentile tax codes, once those are defined, we need to assign, okay, as non-taxable acquisitions. Actually, this is part of asset accounting. Okay. So we need to assign in transaction code OBCL. In asset accounting, this is a mandatory step. So I go to OBCL, non-taxable transactions. If any non-taxable transactions are there in asset accounting, system will be taking these percentile tax codes. Input 0 percentile, output 0 percentile. And then say save, done. Okay, so first is you need to define the 0 percentile, and next you can give any percentile tax codes you want. So now go to FTXP again, go to master data. Now for input, I'm saying V4 percentile for input. Okay. Input 4 percentile I'm giving. So output you need to deactivate. Input 4 percentile is coming. 4 percentile is coming, that is fine, but if you go to tax accounts, the GL account is empty. Into which GL account it will be captured? Let us see. Similarly, define for output also I'm defining 4 percentile. You can give any percentile, okay? Output. Again, deactivate input. Against output, you have 4 percentile. Tax accounts is nothing. Now what to do with the tax account? For that, you need to define the GL account first. Now, 2 types of GL accounts we will be creating in real time. Tax as an expense, tax as an outstanding. Okay, if I'm not paying the tax now, you can create it as an outstanding or a liability GL account. Okay, and then you can track it, and then while making the payment you can clear it off. Okay, that way you are doing. Otherwise, as an expense also you are creating. So in my project we have created it as a pool, tax pool GL account. Okay, so as a balance sheet account or as a expense account you can create. Okay, so let me create it as a balance sheet account. Tax pool means both input and output I can post to the same. So optionally, okay, you can either create that way or this way. Now I'm creating this as an open item because I would want to track. Now the field status is for tax accounts, it is G041, tax office clearing accounts. Okay. And go to tax category. All taxes allowed. Without taxes also allowed. Okay. And yeah, that's it. Now, what you need to do is go to asset, go to one inventory account. Suppose I have a purchase invoice posting. Okay. Now, F-43. Which vendor? Some vendor. How much amount? Some amount. Say calculate tax. Now 40 on the material. Which material? The raw material. Okay. Raw material AP, and I say enter. What is the tax code? How much? Input tax, right? 4 percentile. Document simulate. Okay. So we have to do the automatic account assignment, which we missed. Once you create the GL account, automatic account assignment should be done. Automatic account assignment OB40. Okay. OB40 is the transaction code. So I go to OB40 against where, what were the account keys we used in the tax procedure? VST and MWS. Go to VST, which is input tax, double click, give your chart of accounts. If you want to give, you can give the tax codes, otherwise not required. What is the GL account? The tax pool GL account you can give. Okay. Now go back. Offer output. Output, what is the account key? MWS. MWS. Output tax. Double click. If you want to give the tax code, you can give. Otherwise, you just have to give the GL account like this. Okay. Now, if you go to the respective tax codes in your country, see, GL account is filled. Okay, whichever tax code you say, GL account is now filled. Now let us have the purchase invoice posting. Give the tax code. I'm giving input 4 percentile and I say simulate you can see that the tax pool is getting posted like this. Tax pool account got posted. Similarly, a sales, F-22 is sales, right? Okay. So for customer invoice, if you see, you select the customer here. Now, when you select the customer, sales account is there, no? Sales account, whatever you have, make sure that the tax category is activated here. And if you go to invoice, you can select the sales account. Give the tax code. I'm giving output 4 percentile. And then document says simulate. Tax pool is getting posted. You can see the tax code also. Okay. So this is how, the tax postings will be done. And one more configuration related step is there in MM. Okay. Wherein you need to assign the default tax code in the invoice. So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to SPRO, IMG, and material management here. In logistics invoice verification, incoming invoices, maintain default values for tax codes, your own company code. Okay. So default tax code, this is a mandatory step. Which one should I give? Yeah, this one, no? Input I have to give. So if at all you would want to give 0 percentile or 4 percentile, whichever you want, you can give. For unplanned delivery cost, what is unplanned delivery cost? I will be telling you. I'm giving 0 percentile again. Okay. Fine. So this is the step that, you need to do as a mandatory one. So what is this? Maintain default values for tax codes. This is a configuration step. Now you can enter the invoice in MIRO transaction. Now, so far we have seen only the planned delivery. How about unplanned delivery cost? Delivery cost is of two types: planned delivery, unplanned delivery. Now let us see. I'm entering the invoice here. Okay. So now on which day I'm entering the invoice, so and so. You can give the reference as a purchase order 4500022560. Okay, so now give the purchase order here again. Here you need to enter and say enter, enter, enter. See, all the line items are coming. Raw material standard, moving average, freight, freight. Freight of, this, freight of this. Now, suppose if you do not want to bill for freight now, what you have to do? Select only goods, service items. Only raw material is coming. I want to have only the freight related invoice now, not the raw material. Select planned delivery cost. Only freight is coming. Okay. Your wish. Both I want, the last one. Okay. Now, how about unplanned delivery cost? See, even though I have, come in contract with my delivery vendor, this is a contract, this much is a percentile that I've already agreed upon. But at the time of actual delivery, Some other costs have been incurred. Those are called unplanned cost. Unplanned cost won't come in purchase order because it is unplanned. Suddenly it came up. Planned cost, it is coming from the beginning in the purchase order. So unplanned, what I have to do is first give the amount here. This 10,000, 10,000, 20,000 and 500, 400, 9. So 10,900. Okay. Now go to details. Unplanned delivery cost. How much amount you would want to enter? Suppose some 30 USD. Okay. Fine. So we need to add that 30 here, right? 930. Now here what is happening? 10,930 balance not equal to 0. No. Let me give.
Is it 2930?
20, no? Okay.
It was mentioned there also. In that message, it was mentioning there also.
Yeah, it is 2930. Okay. So this is tax invoice. Now what if my vendor has also hiked the prices in the material? That is also possible, right? Okay. So in place of 10,000 for the raw material standard, suppose, he gave this material for 11,000, suppose. And for raw material moving average, 10,500, suppose, or 600. My raw material prices have also increased at the time of invoice. I have unplanned delivery charges and even the raw material prices have also increased, suppose. So now what is the new price? 216.15. Okay, so that means 22.5. Okay. How much? 22,530 only, no? I give. How much it is? This is anyways 30 USD.
It is correct. 22,500 plus 30 is that other charge, right?
One moment. Just give me a moment. Correct amount only I gave, no?
Right side, the corner, upper corner, that was some amount was showing balance 900 something. What was that?
This is freight.
So if there is a freight, then we have to add that also, right?
We have added, no? This is 22,600.
Yeah, correct. No, it is
21,600 plus 9.
22,500 plus 30. 30 where
Plus
we added.
30.
Yeah, unplanned or whatever. What is that? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Has no partner role in this order. Okay, fine. So we have given the amount and we also have entered the unplanned delivery cost. Now this unplanned delivery cost, into which GL account it has to go? that GL account has to be configured in OBYC. Where it has to be configured? Under UPF, unplanned delivery cost, UPF. This is very much an expense account. So what you need to do is create the GL account into expense. Unplanned delivery. Okay. So how much is the GL account? 422. So I assign 422 under unplanned delivery cost, which is an expense account. Okay, make sure this configuration is done beforehand you do the invoice. So now I do all this. Now I say post. Document so and so is created, blocked for payment. Don't worry, block for payment is standard behavior. Okay.
Lavanya, sorry to disturb you in between. Hello. Lavanya, that amount which you mentioned, 21,630, I think you are excluded that freight cost, right?
Let us see that. Even, I didn't see. Let us see. So follow on documents. Okay, this has not taken the freight. So let us take the freight as well. Let us take the freight as well. Because we took a different vendor, no, only for freight. Okay, maybe that is the reason system is not taking. Yeah, now it is coming. Now only freight is coming. So freight also I'm posting.
Because you taken that the reference transaction, the previous one? The reference transaction, whether you considered for a freight?
No taxes are allowed for account 221. Okay, so let me activate it. Let me finish this off. I will clarify your doubt. $900. Now say save. Document is also created. And if you display this, follow on document. See. How about unplanned delivery? Let me see. Unplanned delivery hasn't come here as well.
30 rupees is considered, right? 30 US dollar. 30 US dollar. US dollar 30 is considered, right?
30 is considered, but it has to be posted into a different GL account.
It is taken into that same account, I think.
Transporter is posted here. No, this is wrong, no? No, this here transporter is coming, it shouldn't come. The tax invoice transporter is coming, unplanned delivery is not coming. What shall we do? I have clubbed both these scenarios together, but even then I could execute previously. So what I'll do is I'm not clubbing the two scenarios. So let us see. Let me not club the scenarios, two scenarios. So I'm saying ME21N in the purchase order. I'm entering a fresh purchase order without clubbing those two scenarios. Now, let me add the freight component here. Okay, already done. It's added. And here, moving average 4 percentile it is taking. And I'm changing the vendor, freight vendor here. Yes, it has already taken. And it has taken. Okay. And then I save it. Purchase order is created. Then I do MeGo transaction. 561 is the purchase order number. I say execute. Okay. Now I say save. Okay, material document is created. I go to MB03. Accounting document. Okay. Incoming freight is posted. Okay, fine. Now let us do the invoice. Okay. Okay, both are coming. So 20,900. Vendor is coming here. Document is created. Display. No. It is getting posted on this transporter only. It is wrong.
Supposed to be the actual vendor account, right?
It should give us the actual vendor who is selling the goods.
Correct.
Okay. Why like this? Can I say this tomorrow and cover in the next session? Okay, I've already executed. I could get the correct one only, but
Yeah, Lavanya is fine that next session we can
yeah,
take it from.
we can cover this. Okay, fine. So this is for today. Next session, I will be covering this planned and unplanned delivery cost. Okay,
Okay, yeah, bye. Thank you.
fine then. Thanks a lot, everyone. Any other questions do you have?
Nothing as of now that we will see later.
Okay, fine. Thanks a lot, everyone.